Today we're on the topic of great pro wrestling matches, and I know pro wrestling is an incredibly subjective art form, and it's not just about what you do, it's about how you engage the crowd and so many other facets, and everyone has their own opinion, and that's the true beauty of pro wrestling. Different styles, different flavors of ice cream. But despite all the uniqueness of some of the classics in history, I had to think about if there were any commonalities between them all. Is there anything that can tell us whether a match is a true classic or not? The first one is polished fundamentals, and I'm not saying that every match needs 5 headlock takeovers and a chain wrestling clap, clap, clap sequence at the end. I'm talking about things that look like they land. When your fundamentals are polished, the strikes land with extra intensity. There's no gaps in your work. Everything looks just that little bit better. Yes, pro wrestling can and often should be a little bit gritty, a little bit messy, not always a perfect choreographed dance. But when there's gaps in your work, it becomes very obvious with everything you're doing. My second commonality for classic pro wrestling matches is that they use tempo as an effective tool. The matches are paced well. I'm not talking about just moving at a snail's pace to make it feel like a big match, but using peaks and valleys wisely as per any storytelling narrative. You want to use tempo to bring the crowd up, bring them back down at the right times, and I think all true great pro wrestling does this beautifully. The third is efficiency, and you've probably heard commentators talk about no wasted motion, but it's absolutely true. As soon as junk is being put in there, moves that don't have a rhyme or a reason, different periods of the match that could have been cut out and gained the same outcome, well then you're not being efficient and you're not working to people's attention spans. Great pro wrestling works in harmony, so everything supports the overall story being told and the overall feel of the match. Within your own matches, if something doesn't need to be there, cut it out. You're better off going on the shorter side of things. Number 4 is selling and intent. Now, of course, selling pain is important, but I'm going far deeper than that. Are they using all 3 elements of selling to tell their story? Facial expression, vocalization, body language. Is the selling feeling organic and natural? Is it making you question whether this is real or not? We want the fans to suspend disbelief. So if we can do that with our selling, we're on the right track. Now, a lot of selling and intent kind of leads us to number 5, which is drama. All great pro wrestling needs drama. Now, I'm reluctant to use the word story because I think a lot of people have taken that the wrong way as of late. I don't believe story to be melodrama. I don't think classic matches have story, which is stopping the match to recite a soliloquy. It's not amateur hour theater. I believe the best story is told through in-ring drama, through action, through body language, through emotion. When you watch the classics, this is what they do, and this is what drama is. And when you do drama well, when the crowd are latching onto every single beat, when you're zigging when they expect you to zag, when you pay them off down the track and you leave them just feeling absolutely ecstatic about what they just saw, now you've told a true story. And you can sense the difference. A crowd who is completely invested in everything they're seeing has a very different vibe to a crowd who isn't. And I think that's an absolute non-negotiable for classic pro wrestling matches, for some of the best matches in pro wrestling history. The crowds are always 100% emotionally invested in the work. So all 5 of those things kind of work in unison together, and I think they're all absolutely necessary to make great pro wrestling. You might work a match where the fundamentals are perfect, the selling is fantastic, but the drama's not there, the tempo hasn't been used correctly, the match isn't hitting those higher gears, so the crowd aren't invested in it. And I'd argue as good as the technique may be, as good as what you're doing may look on camera, that's not great pro wrestling. It's all about the audience response, and that only happens when every single box is checked and you're doing it all perfectly. But let me know what you think. This is just one person's opinion. What do you look for in great pro wrestling? What elements do you value over others? Drop it in the comments box below, and I'm keen to hear your thoughts.